Pozdrav svima. Danas vam Bio Balkan Collab inicijativa predstavlja 5. blok predavanja iz druge faze, odnosno ciklusa svog rada, tematski blok predavanja iz arahnologije. Poštovanje današnjim predavačima, doktorki Gordane Grbić iz Srbije i diplomiranom ekologu Ivi Čupić iz Hrvatske. Doktorka Gordane Grbić, istraživač iz oblasti biodiverziteta i životne sredine, pretežno se bavi biodiverzitetom, ekologijom i zaštitom paukova. Osnivač je Centra za istraživanje i zaštitu paukova Srbije pod nazivom Pauci Srbije, kao i začetnik nacionalne manifestacije Dan pauka. Danas će nam održati predavanje na temu Spiders and Citizen Science in Serbia. Diplomirani ekolog Ive Čupić, vanjski je suradnik na institutu Ruđer Bošković, a istraživač koji se najviše bavi zoologijom i trenutno održavanjem modelnih organizama iz podzemlja. Danas nam predaje na temu Did a spider bite you? How misinformation is spread in the internet era. Izvinjavam se, samo da ubacim ljude. Današnja predavanja predviđena su da budu na engleskom jeziku radi premošćavanja jezičkih barijera, kao i obezbeđivanja edukacije o paukovima široj publici koja je zainteresovana. Na kraju ostavite sva pitanja u chatu i kolega moderator Edi će da pročita sva pitanja predavačima. I kako ne bih dužila, sada predajem reč prvom predavaču, doktorki Gordane Grbić, i uživajte.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here. I will turn off my camera so you can pay your full attention on the presentation. So let's start sharing. I hope this time we will succeed. So let's see what we have here. Let's see at the beginning what is a citizen science. You will find several definitions. Almost every institution has their own. NASA, for example, or National Geographic. Basically, everyone who uses citizen science has a definition of that. I would say it could be a powerful tool if you learn how to use it properly. Citizen science is not a new concept, since every rich aristocrat non-scientist collected information in the past and made a huge museum collection, for example, of insects and other invertebrates. But it was first defined independently during 90s and added to Oxford Dictionary 10 years ago. Do you see full screen? Everything is okay?
Yes, everything is visible.
Okay. So, to continue. Well, you probably didn't know there is a European Association of Citizen Scientists that was established also in 2014. If you want to try some project with citizen science, please inform yourself. You have valuable information on their website, not only because you will learn one more definition of what citizen science is, scientist is, but because you will learn what are 10 important principles that you should follow in your research. Of course, I will not read you all 10 principles, but please pay attention to this one marked in yellow. Citizen science is considered a rich research approach like any other, with limitations and biases that should be considered and controlled for. Why this one is important? Because lots of researchers still do not respect citizen science and the data collected this way. I had personally problem with one reviewer when I submitted the manuscript who rejected my paper because he doesn't not believe in citizen science. So I want to show you that it's not a question of believing, it's a question of methodology. Something could be done with help of citizen science, something not. But it should be considered as a possible approach in research like any other methodology. Well, citizen science could be applied in arachnology field, and we have numerous examples in Europe, America, and Australia. I brought this one to you because I was personally impressed. All happened in the Denver Museum of Natural Science. They developed a collecting project and made amazing collections of spiders. They also educated 900 people of different ages and backgrounds. This project was finished in 2017. I'm not sure exactly how many species they collected, but the result of collecting in total was impressive, and now that is a huge national biodiversity heritage. Why do we need this kind of approach in arachnology in Serbia? Let me show you the one obvious example. This is a meeting of Hungarian Arachnological Society. Please take a look, good look at how many people are in this photo. Now, yeah. This is a meeting of Serbian Arachnological Society. The difference is clear, and we need as much help as we can get to develop this field in Serbia. How did we start with this project? To be honest, we just saw an opportunity. We have noticed very big spiders, Zoropsis spinimana, in Belgrade as a new species for Serbian fauna and also new member of synanthropic fauna. Since the species could be recognized by the general public based on a photo, and it is a successful colonizer, we decided to test the system of citizen science and to include people in search for this spider across the country. Our results were published in a small manuscripts, small publication, and the idea was to draw attention to the possibility of using citizen science in arachnological field in Serbia. That was not easy, but it was successful. What have we done? First, we made a collaboration between two colleagues, both experts, but in different fields. The one who actually found Zoropsis in his backyard is an expert for leeches. I was the second research that is obvious. Nicola sent me material that he collected so I could confirm the species, and then we started to make some plans for the project. How we started. We learn as much as we can about this species, and since both male and female, you can see here, are active during September, we decided to make an open call in September 2023 and to last for 30 days. We choose two Facebook groups because we are admin there, so we can control all incoming information. Also, we ask photos to be sent on email or in Messenger. Furthermore, we ask several additional questions, but only people who actually saw Zoropsis and send us photos. We ask, for example, where in the house did you find it? Perhaps in bathroom or in kitchen. How many times did you saw him? More than once, only once? And what happened after? Did you kill it or release it? Well, we faced several challenges during the call. First, and maybe the most important was language. In sense of how you will ask them, how you will ask people to join the project. So I wrote you some things that you have to think about before you start your own call. Be careful, you're dealing with spiders. You don't want any panic or someone to get hurt. Please have in mind that people are sometimes unpredictable. Even if we were very careful, during our call, one journalist that follows Facebook page Spiders of Serbia published this article with a negative sensational title. Well, we were lucky, but and this didn't influence our campaign, but be prepared with some response from, for example, in the form of positive text. When you work more, what were more challenges? Yeah, when you work with ordinary people, please have in mind that many of them have little or none biological background. So be sure that you have these clear guidelines. What do you make clear? What do you expect them to do? Educate them. Remember the previous slide. You don't want anyone to get hurt, especially if they have to collect something. Tell them where to send information or collected material and how to do that. Of course, you have to think how long this call will be active. Duration of call is not always connected with species, but sometimes with the size of your team. If you have a small number of team members, be careful not to get overwhelmed with data. To see what was next. Participants need to know who is responsible for the call, who will receive all those messages, and of course, how this data will be used. This is actually principle number 7. An open access format is needed for publication. And at the end, explain to them what would be benefit if they join your project. This is actually principle number 3. Both professional scientists and citizen scientists should benefit from taking a part in the project. Don't worry, that benefit is not something complicated. This could be education or just fun, but it's necessary to explain. This is also important. During the call, you have to maintain the relationship with your community. You have to have some sort of call reminder. Why this is important? Please remember this. No one cares more about your project but you. Anyone else is an accidental participant. So it is your responsibility to push info forward. For example, tell them it is 15 days till the end, you have 2 days left, this is the last chance, or something like that. Here on the left, is our example of reminder on the Facebook page. Of course, please respond to their emails and messages quickly. This is very important. You have to appreciate their time. Since they do this on a voluntary basis, you have to be aware that they spend their free time to helping you. Sometimes even a thank you note is enough, but any answer is mandatory. You need a report about project progress. That is actually principle number 5. And at the end, some sort of report or to report when something is published. This is actually principle number 5 and number 7. You have here also an example. Well, challenges. When you involve the general public, you have to expect unexpected. In our case, 20 people send us their photos, but with the wrong species. Of course, this is not usable information, but this is not actually a failure of the project. This is actually amazing. 20 people spent their time on our call. They saw the spider and they remember that it was a call about it. This is very good. And no spider was killed during this process. This is also important and amazing. What we additionally learn from this call is that even if we think something is clear for us, it is not clear for public. So I think additional education is mandatory. More challenges. Of course, we received photos of different size and orientation, and of course, low quality. We had low quality photos. That is a classical hazard of the collecting method, but this is not an photo exhibition call. Question is, could I, as an expert, see without any doubt that this is the species that I'm looking for? Yes, it is. So the data that we collected in our case is valid. Now let's say something about interpretation challenges. This is tricky. You have to be very careful when you start with interpretation of results. This is a risk of methodology. You need just facts, not impressions. You need to have very good general knowledge about spiders and the species so you can distinguish what is a fact and what is a pure speculation. Please pay attention to this example. This is one very good research about Tegenaria and Maltonica species in England. They collected a huge amount of information through mobile app application and Survey Monkey, but they remove more than 3,000 inputs at the very beginning. But they have something else in mind. Let us see. The researchers wanted to know more about temporal phenology of species. For example, is this really an early evening spider? What was their challenge? Does activity of spider reflect the biology of spider or reflect the activity of people who participated in the research? Since, as you know, working class during the day, while people are at work, they could not record any spider in their houses, in their homes. Well, since they have a huge set of data, that was an advantage. They could use valid statistical method, and it looks like it is connected with spider biology. So that is the fact. But in our case, that would be pure speculation, since we have only 4 inputs to our work on. So we didn't make any comments on that subject. We asked, when did you see it in the at the morning or in the night, but we didn't try to explain. Another example how to avoid speculation. Even if we know that zoopsis have a great potential to spread very fast, for example, in Switzerland, after 20 years since the first record, spider spread in nearly all cities, the prediction of spreading in Serbia would be impossible to give. We do not have this kind of data, so valid information does not exist. According to the citizen science contribution, you can see on the map we could already observe this species in more than one place, city or town in the country, but how he came to Serbia and when the spreading started could not be determined. So we didn't discuss it. Even if I'm, for example, pretty sure that he came as a blind passenger from Greece, this is just an speculation. Pretty sure is not a fact. So, what did we conclude from our project? It could be a quality work. One more second, sorry. Yeah, it could be done, it should be done. But this is the work where you need more time to invest in preparation than in your regular scientific work, since you're dealing with several unfamiliar factors and unknown people. You need good planning process with some risk management. It is more time and energy consuming, but this is actually a great way to connect with community and to gain their trust, especially if you work with spiders. My suggestion would be to start with small project, then to go to large. Go to large. Zašto sad ovo se ne pomera?
Evo, inače uspelo je kod nama, u redu je.
Jel me čujete sad? Ne znam šta se desilo.
Da. Pa samo idete opet natrag.
This is one thing that I would like to say more about this slide. This is also one very nice project about Argiope species. It's easy to participate. You just take a photo and send an email. And they wanted to know what is the current distribution of these two species of Argiope spiders. So take a close look on their web page. As I said here, start with small project. Of course, ask someone who already have some experience in this area. And of course, my suggestion is to be brave and start something new. And at the end, but also at the beginning, the most important is to collaborate. Why? If colleague of mine who found zoopsis didn't bother to contact me, none of this would happen. Evo ga, sad opet neće da se... One more suggestion. Before you start with your own project, join some other. Why? Because you will see how some things work. Go and test the system. I could suggest this one since it is for students and scientists. I also applied and tried to contribute, but I discovered that something is going on with Araneus in Serbia, so I cannot do my contribution. It looks like he's disappearing slowly. I'm not sure why. But also, we discovered one more funny fact, that letter could be lost due postman strike in Serbia. So the first shipment of tools for measuring the spiders was lost in the mail. When it finally came, Araneus finished his life cycle, so we didn't have any adult to catch and measure. We lost a year of experiment. Next year, I didn't find any Araneus to measure, so that was a very valuable lesson. This is an example of risk management tool. You have to think about when to send equipment to participant to avoid this kind of situation. The strike was how you say, no one's fault. But for the next project, I have to think about that risk too. Well, I know my country, I know my strikes. One more reason why I think it should be your first move to join someone's other project. I think not all scientists are made for this approach. Since you will be in contact with various people, the general public, you have to have lots of patience, like a teacher in the school. Can you do that? Do you like that? So this is why I'm telling you, try to participate before you start your own call. So if you're interested in this approach, stay in touch. These are my contact informations. I have attention to organize more citizen science projects. Maybe you will find something for you. That's all for me. Now, my colleague could continue. I will just stop sharing.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. Are the questions right now, or are you
No,
reading all the questions
are after.
Okay, so in that case, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, I think it works. If it doesn't work, just raise a hand. So yeah, this is okay. For the questions, write the questions in the Balkan chat, and we can do that later. So this actually is related to what people think of spiders, maybe a bit less on collaborations you can do with people, because in this project, this research was related more to how people perceive spiders through the news outlets. And yes, spiders do have unfortunate reputation. And as it obviously says here, I'm Eva, and I've been receiving pictures of bite sites and heard anecdotes of spider bites for the last 10 or so years, just because spiders are one of my favorite specific interests. And the question I often hear is, which spider did that? And you see a picture of a bite site or a wound or something that in many cases actually isn't a bite at all. And my response usually is, did you see the spider? And if the answer is no, then I say it most likely wasn't a spider. So the thing with spiders is in Croatia, for most of the mild skin bite conditions, you really can't tell which animal has caused it, if it was an animal. Apart, for example, the black widow spider, where you have a clear medical symptoms that you can recognize, it's really hard to know if it was a spider. And spiders are a lot less prone of biting in the fence than people think. And there is also a lot more blood-eating insects than people think. And of course, the thing about skin lesions and connecting it to spiders, that's a bit older than the news portals online, than social media, but it all went into the social media era, of course, with other sensationalistic things. Can you hear me clearly? Because I have a lot of background noise, and I'm not sure if... sorry. Okay, I will speak slower. There's some trouble with the sound. Okay, I will try. Okay, can you hear me clearly? Something with my headphones. Huh?
Ja te čujem savršeno.
Yeah, there was a problem with the headphones, I think. So I heard a lot of background noise, so you probably heard it too. So, okay. Yeah, when it comes to spider bites and connecting it to every skin lesion, so I was talking about how it's a bit older than the news portals online. And you probably heard about massive infestations of false black widows that are shutting down entire schools. That happened in the UK. It's, I think, 3 or 4 years old. They really did shut down schools because of that spider. You probably heard of online news about toilet seats on international airports that have lurking spiders inside. There are also some urban myths of tiny spiders that crawl in your mouth, the myth of eating around 7 spiders through our lifetime while sleeping, which is, of course, false. And these are all just anecdotes, but they illustrate how even today arachnophobic sentiments is still part of our society. And it's not really surprising because arachnophobia is likely the most widespread fear related to animals, along with ophidiophobia, which is the fear of snakes. Actually, less than 0.5% of spider species are capable of causing severe harm. And that's actually, if you look at, I don't know, our Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, you will also see that there is only one recognizable one that people do recognize that is like medically significant, and that's black widow spider, which is here on this video. And as you can see, this spider is really docile and doesn't want to bite if unprovoked. There's also a great research paper on the way how you actually have to hold the black widow spider so it would initiate the bite. And it's really, this spider really tolerates bad handling, so it's really hard to get bitten. And this is actually the spider that's most recognized as medically significant in Croatia, apart from one other spider that is a bit less popular. I mean, popular, people really don't know about it, and it's really not, the bites didn't happen, and the bites that did happen that people sent me, the spider is actually called Loxocellus rufescens, so it's connected to the American brown recluse spider. If you heard about that spider, it's the spider that Americans really fear of. But I don't think there was any case in here that ended up with necrotic lesions that is usually connected to this kind of spiders. And our species really doesn't have that kind of venom as the American one. And yeah, really few fatalities are attributed to spider bites. I mean, less and less, because in recent decades you can faster come to I don't know, if you live in a rural area, maybe it would be a problem to go to the doctors, but usually even in the places that have a higher number of dangerous species, today it's really easy to get help. So the exaggerated fear is really exaggerated, especially in these places like in Europe. And this gets me to today's topic, actually, and it's the database we created. We compiled a database spanning over a decade, so from 2010 to 2020, of global online newspaper coverage of human. So there were 5,348 articles, 81 countries on 40 languages. It provides detailed insights, location data, presence of images, errors, if there were any, usually there were, if the experts were consulted. It doesn't have to be arachnologists. Sometimes they consulted medical professionals and such. And there's also a sensationalism assessment, because usually, as you might imagine, if you see more mistakes in a news article, it will probably be more sensationalist in the tone which it was written. And there's also, because of all this database that's collected, there are opportunities, and discussions on risk perception of media influence. So the search was initiated by identifying the terms for spider in various languages, but it was not only Googling a spider, it was also bite, sting, because it's sometimes misidentified. Additionally, some terms were replaced with local names of species that are perceived as dangerous in each country. So in Croatia, it would be black widow spider, which is crna udovica. In other countries, other local names. And also for some Latin names that are connected to other, a bit less dangerous species, but also connected to, let's say, more significant spiders in each country accordingly. Each article was reviewed, and a spider expert was assigned to, let's say, I did all the news from Croatia. If there were more people in other countries, because there was also a larger number of papers, they did it together. They had another way of checking if they did this review. Let's say they tried to make it like standardized, because it's really hard to, if you have a lot of people working on, I don't know, checking the articles, the amount of errors would be higher. I only had Martina to check what I did, to, let's say, if she thought that something was more sensationalistic than I did, we tried to find, let's say, the middle to give the rating to this news article. So the species identity was reported at the lowest taxonomic level possible. Usually it could be, it was usually species, sometimes genus, really rarely a family level. And then the type of event was recorded, if it was an encounter, if the bite was described, if it was a deadly bite, rarely, but yeah. The year, the location, coordinates were determined using Google Maps, and also if there was a presence of photographs, bite photographs, and expert opinions. Also, the error and text valuation, error evaluation was really important here, because errors could be in photographs or figures, including when they didn't show the species that was written about, or the wrong species was written about and the photo was correct, stuff like that. errors in systematics and taxonomy, I mean, that could be everything from misconceptions like spiders being insects or inaccuracies in species name, errors in venom toxicity descriptions, symptoms of envenomation, or if medical terminology is known to be wrong in those types of articles, so everything was noted. Errors on morphology and anatomy, of course, and subheadings, main text, and photographs and video content of each news article was assessed if it was sensationalistic or not, if it was neutral. The database actually exhibits a bit uneven temporal coverage. Of course, concentration was on news articles in recent years, and if it was just because they popped up a bit higher on the search bar, or it was a bit more popular to write about spiders in recent years, we can't tell. And there's also a seasonal trend in article distribution. Of course, the biggest number of articles occurred during the summer in Northern Hemisphere, and the pattern was less defined in the South. Number of news items varies significantly by country, and in some countries you have them in hundreds. Like in the UK, it was, I think, about 800 articles. In United States, around 500, and to places like Botswana, where there was none articles. So that was really strange. The database encompasses at the end 6,200 reports of the encounters, and only 2,600 are unique events. So the other ones were like recycled news. There were around 2,000 identified and unidentified spider species in these articles, and there was around 1,000 bites, and 147 were deadly bites. Expert comments in articles about human spider encounters vary across countries, and it was expected. But what was expected also was that spider experts were rarely consulted. They would usually ask medical staff, or I don't know, people that deal with killing insects or stuff like that. Usually they wouldn't reach out to arachnologists. And around 47% of the articles had some kind of error, and about the same percentage was considered as sensationalistic. So what to do with all this information? So we collected everything, perfect, but what next? So why all of this was done is to do other types of research related to social dimension of getting to know spiders and psychology of arachnophobia. But you could also look into contemporary problems in ecology and also a bit conservation biology. There's opportunity to explore things like socioeconomic factors, demographics, education level, because countries with higher medically significant spiders could exhibit different reporting patterns than those with arachnophobia, despite a few dangerous species. Also, analyzing values by country, such as error proportions and spider bites versus encounter ratios, can provide insights into relationship between education levels and cultural values. The data mining protocol was really budget-friendly, and it's easy adaptable to other scenarios, other taxa. So it could also be done with other venomous creatures like, I don't know, bees, scorpions, wasps, something like that. And there could be some, the correlation actually could be explored between taxon-specific characteristics, like distribution or dangerousness, interaction with humans, and the content quality of media articles about them. It could also be seen, does the negative portrayal in traditional media lead to less conservation, prioritization, and action? Because everything, as Gordane said, you can almost always say, yeah, that really happens, but you don't have the proof for it. So these kinds of things could be also done just through scanning through media articles and human-animal encounters. Sometimes even sensationalism can increase public interest in nature, so it's not just all negative. But in recent years, it started to be really popular to do those kinds of research that Gordane was describing, and people are really interested, and people are really keen to do something that is maybe their hobby or something they have interest in, and are really, really happy to I don't know, to work in their free time for it. So that's really a nice way to start knowing people around you who would like to contribute. So also ecological insights could be seen from this database, because there are data on more than 200 spider species. And for most of these species, coordinates were recorded. Localities of human spider encounters were also recorded. Some of these records are definitely wrong, but the presence of these supposedly encountered species could be verified by experts. And the news reports could be used to inspect areas where a given species may be present and historically wasn't known to be present. And of course, the ecological patterns could be explored through that. In Croatia, for example, the seasonal distribution of news articles on the black widow spider overlaps almost perfectly with the known phenology of the species. So around 8th and 9th month, you will see a lot of news like, spider abundance, black widows everywhere. It's just that people actually can notice adults only at that time, and then these kinds of sensationalistic news articles appear. Also, some recent modeling studies have shown that internet-derived distribution data can be useful for mapping the predicted distribution of spiders. Any animals, actually, but in this case, spiders, and especially species that are really easily identified in the field or by photos. Yeah, of course, in this way, and bites that are reported. So it would be really nice to see some other species that are, let's say, problematic for humans to do a comparison. And of course, if there really are some spiders that are recorded outside of their historical ranges, it could provide clues to pathways of new populations from human-mediated dispersal events. And this thing actually happened with the Western black widow in the US. Sadly, maybe not sadly for everyone, something like that didn't happen here. So yeah, that is actually still to look into. In that way, I mean, I would be really glad something like that could be made again since 2020, because there has been a lot of news articles that actually popped up. I think a bit more than in the years that we were looking through in the last 2 years. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's because I just started to notice them more just because of this research. And also, there's a good thing that you can do when you do these kinds of research. You can always make your web browser send you, your email, send you notifications whenever a news article pops up with specific keywords that you set in. So I did this a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly how it was done. It's not that hard. It's really easy, and it really helps with these kinds of research, because you can get, these kinds of stuff like spiders and snakes are usually constantly a part of this, like, big problem in the city, parts of news. So it could be really good to include in these kinds of research. And this is everything from me for today. So I'm open for questions, and of course you can contact me on the mail here and on Instagram. If you're over there, I don't have a Facebook account like Gordana has, which is great. But yeah, you can find more on Instagram.
Well, I'm a little bit older than you. This is the main reason why I have Facebook. Totally.
Yeah. I understand.
Totally different population.
Yeah,
is on
but it could
Facebook
be used.
and on Instagram.
But I was actually thinking about it because it could also be used. There's also a similar Facebook page that you have for finding spiders and insects in Croatia. And you have a lot of people that are really keen on posting over there. I haven't opened it in a while because I'm really slow over there. But yeah, a lot of people are interested and could be included in these kinds of research.
Yeah, that's true.
Savršeno. Ok, još jednom čao svima. Ja sam Edis, zastupnik bio Balkana od Makedonija. I hope that everybody enjoyed the lecture. I know I did. So thank you again, Iva and Gordana, for the nice lectures that you gave us. We don't really have a lot of questions in the chat right now, but it's never too late to use the chat option to ask questions. If you really want to ask a question using your microphone, you can raise your hand. And we do have one question like that, so I guess I think we can give that priority right now. ST, can you please turn on your microphone? If you can hear me. If not, we can save it for later as well. And I can ask some of my own questions. First, I would like to say that we are going to send an email to everybody who applied through the form. And in that email, it will be a bunch of useful links and contact information so that you can reach both of the presenters from today. Then, okay, if nobody has questions right now, but again, feel free to ask in the chat option in any language, in Serbian, in Croatian, in Macedonian, even in English. And then I can ask the presenters for you. But some questions that we have that, like, I have, for example. So I guess a common question for both of you would be, like, in terms of house spiders, you know, that like the sayings, I did not kill the spider, I took the spider outside. So is the house spider actually going to die outside? Does that always happen? Like, I would like to know more about that.
People usually think of house spiders as a Pholcidae family, so the ones that have like really long, slender
course.
legs.
They even name them.
It's daddy long legs.
Daddy long legs. But
Yeah.
What's really funny about them is that whenever I'm in the field, I will hardly see them. You know, I know the niche where they do their webs, but they're completely went synanthropic, and they're so connected. They're really so connected to humans that it's really hard to move them away. So I think if you put it outside, it will find a way to just come
Totally.
back.
To, like, get back inside.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
You made a mistake. I'll be back in.
Yeah. But it's like, for example, if it's like a jumping spider, I think I found a jumping spider in my house, like a real one. And I think, you know, in that case, that one doesn't really, it's not a house spider. It doesn't really hide.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, in this part of the Europe, it could be a house spider because he's originally from Mediterranean, so he will not find his right conditions outside, so he become synanthropic here, you know.
Yeah,
It's too
so
cold outside, so he has to stay in the house because in the house he have the perfect climate.
Oh yeah, I just recently found something really interesting, maybe to you, Gordana. Philos chrysops, so the salted. That's
that's
really
like
good.
that's one of my favorite spiders. Like
Yeah,
I'm not even
really?
kidding.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. It's
So I
beautiful.
have
It's beautiful.
never seen them continentally
Hmm.
until yesterday, and it
Okay.
was not only one. It was male and a female and a clutch of eggs in Zagreb near
Beautiful.
Sava. So I was like, okay, so this is really interesting. I have no idea what to do with that. I
Yeah.
left them there. I know where they are, but that was like, okay, if you survive the winter here, okay, winters aren't what they used to be, but it's interesting because probably someone just picked it up. I mean, picked more of them up, and they ended up here.
That is not totally unusual.
Mm.
You can find Philos chrysops everywhere, also in Novi Sad with no problem, in Subotica also,
Nice.
especially if you have a garden. So
Yeah, but
that
that was really strange because I never saw them around Zagreb, and it was why so suddenly. So,
well,
but yeah.
about Zagreb
Mm.
and about Zoropsis spinimana. I
Ah,
had, you know, that he was in the washing machine in Zagreb. Yeah.
Why?
wow, perfect.
2 years ago, one lady from Zagreb contacted me in a panic to ask me what kind of spider this is, and it
Ah,
was a squashed one. And I told her, well, exactly, this is no spider anymore, and but there are some characteristics, and I recognize the Ropsis spinimana.
mm.
And she told me the story. They came from vacation from Corsica or Sicilia, something like that. And while she was unpacking the bags, spider crawl on the wardrobe. He was hidden in the suitcase, and
Oh,
she grabs that clothes, put in the washing machine, close the door, and start the program.
ah,
And the most important thing is that he survived the
She
washing
survived,
machine.
really.
Yeah,
Okay.
he survived detergent and the washing machine, the whole cycle.
Whoa,
But
whoa, whoa,
then
whoa, whoa.
when she get out that wardrobe, she was a little bit, out of the order, but he didn't survive his
right.
her shoe. Yeah,
Uh,
so you
Brazilian.
perfect,
can
Yeah.
find even Zoropsis in the washing machine, so it's not
perfect. But it,
unusual.
yeah, but maybe it really was Zagreb, Zoropsis. Maybe it wasn't the one from Corsica.
No, they just arrived. So
So it really was the wow, nice.
yeah. It really
So
was.
ours
Yeah. They just
ours could have had like a better gene pool if it survived and mated with Zagreb. Zoropsis, but
that's
she
true.
decided
That's
to.
true. That's true.
Sad.
Awesome.
Uh,
Oh my
what
God.
what about
Um,
questions? Do
yes,
you saw any in the chat?
we actually still don't have any questions in the chat, but I still have questions I can ask. And also, I'm thinking I can even direct a question to the entire public, which would be, do you consider yourself arachnophobic? If you do consider yourself to some degree, you can raise your hand, and then we can maybe talk about that for a little bit. That's an idea I have. Okay,
Uh,
Emina. Awesome.
Ivo,
Feel free to talk.
you still presenting?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
That,
I
that's okay. It's just a thank you slide. Emina, you can tell us what you think.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we do. We do.
For me personally, if I see any animal on some, far away from it is okay. But when I see animals like crawling on me or when they jump or something, it is so scary. It's like panic attack.
Oh, that
I'm
bad.
so sorry.
Oh, it's that
Yeah.
bad. Okay. Yeah.
Though this is not unusual in the way that I know a biologist that said he's an entomologist. He really likes a lot of things. There's nothing that scares him, but he always said that if he sees Kutigera, so the centipede with the long thin legs that you can see in the houses, when he sees them in the house, that he is unsettled. And it's just that it's in the house and not in the field. And that was like, wow, this is an interesting thing. Maybe it's related to, okay, some people have it if they see it on themselves or somewhere near them, but this was an interesting take.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for Eva, if that is allowed. You were talking. You were talking in your presentation about errors.
Mhm.
Errors are very common when spiders are involved.
Yeah.
So, what error you hate the most?
Uh, uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I generally really don't like when they don't try to contact a biologist because it's really easy. Of course, I mean, in this day and age, you don't have to contact an arachnologist. You can just ask any biologist, and then they just write. I mean, I know that today it's really not that important that the news are correct. Of course, when it's about spiders and snakes, it's more about the sensationalism. So
click cells.
Yeah, so I really read like 2 or 3 news that were purely, correct in the way that they were talking about them, not making them like the biggest problem ever. The rest was really like just so, I don't know, so it could be read by a ton of people and shared, so like, I don't know. A woman, this one's my favorite. A woman was bitten by a nose-horned viper, and then when she exited the car to the ambulance, she stepped into another one, and it was like, what in the hell? And they actually do try to contact people, and they contact people that are like a guy that lives on Velebit, and but wait, it's not that he's not a scientist. I mean, I really respect people. I mean, I'm not in the academia. I can't. I'm not a fan of some stuff, and I really love that people have interest in different things and can do a lot of that. But this guy is like, oh yeah, we have a new species of snake that was crossed over with another, I don't know, Bosnian snake, and they put it out like a news thing. And it's like, wow, where do you find these people? Is it easier to go on Velebit and find some random guy who will talk a lot of BS?
Bullshit.
And like,
I will say it.
or find you on Facebook. Yeah, like it would be much easier. Or like ask some of the young ones, the younger generations, because like, yeah, we do know a lot at this point through the internet age, because we get a lot of information and misinformation at the same time. But yeah, we do get to learn a lot if we access the right kind of information. By the way, we do actually have a question in the chat right now by Simona, and she is interested. She wants to ask about the field of arachnology in the Balkans. Do you see the interest in the field going up in the near future? And also, what would be the projects and research that would go like hand in hand, if I understood the question correctly? What do you think would happen in the near future in your field of study?
Who will answer first? Me?
Gordana,
You? Now me, when the question is difficult, now me. Well, I'm trying really hard to to develop the arachnology field in Serbia, and Serbia is a part of the Balkan. There are some challenges. For example, I'm the only one in Serbia that works with spiders. There are also challenges about projects and financial challenges, but the most important is continuation. So the arachnology field will develop positively, but in small steps. That will depends on how many projects I can do with 2 hands and how many people will be interested to participate in some of those projects. What was also what kind of project will be? Well,
yes.
I have different kinds of idea. I presented in what is the Society of Biology Student in Novi Sad, 7 different projects. Those are not only faunistical projects. I work on some research how spider web could be used as an additional tool of assessment air pollution in cities. That was so if you are a chemist, you can join the project. I also did some research of arachnophobia. We try to figure it out. Does Serbs are afraid of spiders? That should also be continued. I worked on some toxicity research. We try to test some pesticide on spiders, since those are not target organism for insecticide, but they kill them exactly with the same efficiency like they are insects. So I also proposed some projects to research city fauna. You know that city parks are very important in city life, and so there are no informations about spiders in city parks or even in graves. Maybe you don't know, in Berlin they work on some very interesting project that includes several group of invertebrates, and they are all done on the graveyards.
That's so cool, actually.
Yeah, that could be interesting for everybody. Botanists, people who work with mammals, small mammals, invertebrates. So I'm open to all ideas. So if you have an idea, we can work it out. Maybe adapt a little bit or push it in some direction or so. So I think to conclude, I think the arachnology field in Serbia, I'm not sure for Balkan, but in Serbia, developing slowly. In not Romania, but in Bulgaria, this field is very well developed. In Greece also, you have lots of researchers there. Macedonia is in problem. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Montenegro also. Albania has a very good research basis. The colleague of mine that I met on some international meetings, she started at a faunistical project, but now she runs laboratory for venom research. So there are several directions where you can go. What country do we have? Bosnia is also in the problem, but we can resolve this problem, as I said in my presentation, collaboration is the most important. Yeah. So
I agree.
Yeah. Do you want something to add?
It's really similar thing. I mean, it all boils down to actually at the start to the unfavorable view of spiders. I mean, there's a lot of people that would like to do with butterflies, stuff with butterflies and, beetles. And then when you come to spiders, it's less and less. But other than that, the thing in Croatia is it all comes down to financial problems, where it's sometimes hard to start something out of nothing. And Martina does a lot related to the underground, which is perfect because underground is protected. It has clean, drinkable water. It has endemic species. You have a lot of these things that you can pack nicely when you're proposing for a project. And when you're doing it, that's how I see it. If you compare it to the ground spiders, I mean, not ground, but the ones that are above the ground.
Ground living.
Yeah, you could maybe pack it like, they control populations of insects and such, but it's not enough. They're not this like popular model organism or something. You have to be really creative to make something where you could get.
But don't remember, it's not necessary to address the project as a spider project. You can address the project as a protection of habitat.
Yeah, exactly.
And habitat is easier to explain. To those who have the money.
Some national parks are
a little bit out of the box.
Yeah, exactly. Some national parks are really happy to do projects, even when you're specific, like spiders. So it can be done, but other than that, you have to think outside the box.
Yeah. I saw one question someone asked, did we have some connection with Slovenia?
Yeah.
Well, I have colleagues there, but I didn't make any joint project yet. We will see. Well, one of my recently new colleague, Luka, who is among these students, started his PhD thesis there. I connected him with arachnologist there. So, as I said, slow steps, baby steps.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question from Tanya.
Hello, I have a question about popularity of spiders. Like we heard right now, and we also know a lot of articles that are since I can't say the word in English. They have a shock value, right? They're pretty negative. But I was interested in, was there a raise in popularity and a good kind of feeling about spiders when the Marvel Universe and Spider-Man became popular?
Yeah. They went into it, and actually it the popularity went up of spiders as an organism. There's a research paper on that. And actually, whenever you put something up like that, Marvel related, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, it would be great if Spider-Man had connection with some specific species a bit more. I mean, it is some kind of Black Widow spider. Movies, I think. But, yeah, I'm not sure if people pick that up.
I don't know if you see this.
Yes, we do. We do. It's a nice shirt. Done.
Yeah.
Logo up.
This is also one way to make spider more popular animals. And I noticed that popularity went up when we started with this project. That is a National Spider Day. It's an event where we speak positively about spiders. We gave audience some sort of popular serious subject, but presented in a popular way. I don't know if, besides Eddie, any of you participated last year were present in last year on our presentation. If you want to read more about the Spider Day, go on our Facebook page. You will see what have we done so far. So yes, you can make spider more popular. As Eva said, Marvel is amazing, but you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. That is also important.
I love that so much, and I agree. Yeah, you know what's kind of funny?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eddie. Juliana said that this little creature that you have in your hand, Lucas the spider, also made spiders more popular animals. That is true.
He really did. Yeah. That is very true. Yeah. Yeah, well, it is up to us in the end. It is through all of our shared collaborative efforts that we can make some kind of a difference. I know that at one point I was like more interested in spiders, but then in the end they did end up becoming a herpetologist, which it's always that combination. Eva would know herpetology and arachnology and entomology. It's always that combination, always, like almost every single time. So yeah, but yes, unfortunately in Macedonia there wasn't really a good support system for like a young budding scientist who would want to become an arachnologist. So I guess we don't really do a lot of research, and I guess some individuals are more interested in like doing the research themselves than actually finding somebody who's new and not experienced and teaching them. So yeah, it really depends on the country, but yeah, I'm sure that
well, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone to teach me. I have to reach out of my country. If you remember someone, well, that means I'm very old. If you remember dial-up connection, when internet was not, I wrote letters personally and asked for publications. I write to arachnologists from Germany, from Switzerland, from Spain, and ask for manuscript. And everybody sent me some papers. So you have to be persistent and you have to find a way. There is a very good example how to continue your work in arachnology. One young colleague of mine, Tamara, she started with her spider research at Belgrade University. That was not very welcome, but she found a way to continue her research in Switzerland, because we have some special agreement between countries. So why I'm telling you this? Because you are young. I'm old, as I said earlier. So try to find a way according to your age. There are lots of opportunities. So if you do not have anyone to support you at the place where you at the moment, try to find some other way, try to reach some other people. And so she went to study in Switzerland. She finished her master thesis there. She also finished her PhD thesis there. Then she went to America. And she was at that famous, I think, Smithsonian Museum.
Yes.
And I just find out a few days ago that she became one of the curators at his National History Museum in Vienna.
Oh my God, she really went far. That is
amazing. That is really amazing. She didn't want to give up. So this is a huge respect. And that is all my advice to you. If you want something, just try to find a way. Ask. Be brave, as I said that in that presentation. Try. You have nothing to lose, and you will be sorry if you don't try. You don't know what will happen if you don't try.
Yeah, and I would just like to say, I think that a very good place to start are all of the student associations that we have throughout the Balkans. So there's 6 of us that are in Bio Balkan currently, 2 in Serbia, 1 in Slovenia, 1 in Macedonia, 1 in Bosnia, and what am I forgetting? 1 in Croatia as well. So yeah, that would be a great place to start, even though we don't really have active arachnological sections, but there's always, if there's enthusiasm, then we can totally make anything happen, I think is the main takeaway from all of this that we discussed thus far. Yeah, does anybody have any more?
Sorry, Eddie, there was also one comment about, I missed it, about some banners about spiders in Croatia. Eva, do you know something about it?
She was talking about the spiders. They copied Lucas the spider and wrote something catchy like osiguranje nije bauk.
Osiguranje nije bauk.
Da, to je bilo na pauk nije bauk fora, ne? Točno 2 godine prije toga sam ja imala na Instagramu pauk nije bauk, da mi ljudi šalju slike pa da im determiniram šta je to, ne? I onda je krenulo to osiguranje, tako da baš je, sorry, I switched, but
I'm
not sure how they managed to do it, because it could be, they could get sued. But
subject of copyright.
Yeah, for the Lucas spider, but I mean the Lucas spider was created by one person. It was not like a big company or something like that. So I don't think this person would have any interest in suing Erste Banka for taking their design.
Ja. Pa dobro, ukoliko nema još pitanja, onda možda ipak je vrijeme ovdje da završimo. U ime cijelog Bio Balkana ja bih htio da se zahvalim do Ive Čupić i Gordana Grbić, koji su danas nam održali 2 sjajne predavanja. I kao što sam rekao, mi ćemo da šaljamo jedan email gdje fino lepo imat ćete sve neke lepe korisne linkove i kontakt informacije. vidimo se u nekom sljedećem bloku i nadam se da imat ćete lijep ostatak dana. Ćao od mene, Lukas.
Bye.